Hey guys, this is Marigal Ben Yaakov. It is January 13th on a Friday. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm here back in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I've been here for a while now, about a month. But the last time I posted a video on YouTube was probably after the 26th of October or early November, when I believe I was talking about Leviticus 19, and we'll discuss more biblical scriptures, and seeing the ethical codes you could pull out of that, and how it applies today. And some things are not so great because, biblical things are tribal, and it was for a man society, and so there's a lot of things that are wrong with the biblical text. Anyway, today I want to talk about the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights. A snippet of it, maybe two snippets of it, and that is freedom of speech. And why do I want to talk about this is because a lot of people that I see online or meet on the street, they have like no clue of what freedom of speech even means or what's the context. And now granted, I'm not a constitutional expert or lawyer or anything like that, but I have a pretty decent basic layman knowledge of it. And so first thing I want to say, freedom of speech in the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights is not referring to freedom of getting your feelings hurt. Okay? It has nothing to do with the listener. It has everything to do with the guy who's speaking. Okay? So it's not to protect the offended. It is protect the offender from repercussions from the government or those who are in power or about to get in power or something like that. And so, what is the context? It's kind of like modern countries. There's quite a bit of modern countries, like Islamic countries, communist countries, and dictatorship countries, and also places like Canada now, that you are not allowed to say certain things. And period. You don't have freedom of speech in a great way. What I mean by that is, like, okay, back in the day, or like in communist countries today, or in like Islamic countries, if you say anything against the rulers or kings or dictators or something like that, you're going to find yourself in big trouble. Whether you get jail time, you get go missing, somewhere, and or you just get put to death and things like that. And this is what the founding fathers wanted to do, is protect the speaker from reprisal from the government. And so I'm allowed to, because back in those days, if you spoke against the king, you got yourself in pretty good trouble, or could have. And so freedom of press means the exact same thing, but it's in print form, because back in the day they made books, they had little brochures, they had passed out, and if you said anything against a ruler or something, you get yourself in trouble. And so what the founding fathers wanted to do is to protect that freedom of speech, so the guy or whoever would be allowed and felt secure to say anything he wants. Not 100%, okay? You're not allowed to threaten anybody and, do other things like cry fire in a crowded theater, as you probably heard before. So there's limitations, but but other than that, you're like free to say whatever you want. And of course, you're not allowed to slander anybody, but But if you want to say something against, like, say, President Biden right now, and tell him he's like a butthead, or you're just a con man and things like that, you took the, like, what's going on now is like there's top secret stuff in 3 different places, in his garage where he parks his Corvette, and other places, and he didn't have security clearance to even take him in the first place. When he is vice president, he could look at him, but he's not like a president like Trump was. So anyway, I'm not getting off onto that, but as a speaker, I have freedom of speech, and so I am allowed to speak against the authorities without reprisal. I have that protection from the Constitution. Now, corrupted leaders will try to ignore that, but it's still there. And so they'll politicize, like the DOJ and things like that, and so you might get yourself in trouble. But the reality is, freedom of speech allows the speaker to say things that may not be too great for the listener. And so it is there to protect the speaker, not the ones who are hearing, who might get their feelings hurt or whatever. In modern times, it protects you from lawyers, from certain groups, So I could be like, if I want freedom of speech, or, if I'm practicing freedom of speech in an ungodly way, it's still protected now by law. I could be the biggest racist, anti-woman, anti-gay, anti-this, I'm Jewish, so I could say anti-Christian, whatever, anti-Muslim, thing, whatever I want to say, I could say it. And they can't do anything about it because I'm protected by law. Our Constitution protects free speech. I'm allowed to say anything I want, whether it's rude, whether it's racist, whether it's this or whether it's that, okay? You just have to, as the listener, you just got to deal with it, because you have to love, because it protects you too. If you want to say something back, you're allowed to say it, or if you get a beef with like a mayor or the police station, or like the president or whoever, or some senator, you're allowed to say it without, and there will be no reprisal about it, because you are given that right, freedom of speech. And so like I said, in modern times, this group will say, oh, he's anti-Semitic. So what? Deal with it. I'm Jewish. I deal with anti-Semitic stuff quite often, okay? Oh, you killed Jesus. Oh, whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm that old. Okay. But nonetheless, I deal with it. And do I get my feelings hurt? I write it off. He's allowed to say anything he wants. He call me this, call me that, but it's just like back in the day when it was before internet and all this stuff, when you just had normal TV, like say back in the 50s, whether it's the news or TV show or this or that. If you don't like, or like on Sundays, modern days, if you see some preacher, if you're a Christian, you don't like what he says, you could just turn the channel. It's the same thing, you just deal with it, turn the channel, and move on. You have the freedom of speech here. And so I'm going to say stuff that might offend you. And you're going to say stuff that I don't agree with. And that's the deal. You have to have discernment, to pick and choose, take that back. You have to have the discernment to know what is truth and be well studied up. You just can't go around, so like, say, for example, like Christians will come to me and they think I'm blind and things like that. And so they preach to me all the time. Jewish people have a target on their back. And so I don't mind that. I enjoy talking to them, and because of freedom of speech, I'm allowed to counter that. And they can't do nothing about it. They may not like what I have to say, and so I counter it, and that's because I don't agree with what they have to say. So anyway, but Now, if I were to go, like I said, if you go into an Islamic country and you say something against Muhammad or the Quran or their government, you might find yourself in a whole heap of trouble. Now, here's a difference. Freedom of speech, where the law has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. Now, if you are a business owner, your business can be affected by what you say. So, like, if you are super racist and you have like this good business, good, decent business, and it generates quite a bit of money for yourself, and people find out you're a racist, and they see videos of you or just word of mouth, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people don't do fact checking. They don't look into stuff. They just take it at people's word. They consider it truth, and they just roll with it. And so they don't want anything to do with your business no more because, oh, he's a racist or this or this or that. He's anti whatever, or he's a flaming liberal or something, or, or he's a super right winger, whatever. And so your business might be affected by what you say. So, you have to watch yourself, as a business person, what you say in the public arena, or even to certain people if they have a lot of pull or sway in the society around you. So you have to be smart, you can't be dumb. And anyway, but yeah, freedom of speech is not there to protect the listener. It's there to protect the speaker. So he's free to speak without consequence of the government running down his throat, okay? So I could call Biden out, this, or like, say, Tom Cotton the other day, and Bozeman, who I just voted for at the last election, and they voted for this 1.3, 1.7, whatever trillion dollar thing. And it's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be a conservative, dude. So you suck, and you're not, well, you shouldn't get my vote no more, because all this does this and all that. So I'm allowed to speak against the powers that be without reprisal. And so this is what freedom of speech is all about. And like I said, freedom of the press is the same thing. So a guy who owns a newspaper and wants to publish a little paper and tack it on some like, say, downtown Hot Springs, and in that little billboards section called the What's Happenings or something like that, or tack it on to a telephone pole, that's kind of a type of littering, I suppose. But anyway, you are allowed without reprisal, as long as it's not littering or doing something illegal, that is, you're allowed to post stuff, publish stuff. You're allowed to speak your mind, and so anyway, so that's what's all I want to talk about today. And so, like, say, liberals or the woke crowd get their panties wadded up, because somebody calls them out on their bluff or their BS or whatever. And, oh, well, that's your tough luck. The freedom of speech, allows me to come against you, and you could come against me. Open up your own, radio show or a YouTube page or Facebook page and speak your mind, And the thing is, your facts will bring on, your facts and your quality of a show will bring more people to your channel, because people want to hear the truth. They're looking for answers, they want to find people they want to agree with, to join the tribe, per se. So anyway, that's my spiel for today. Thanks for watching, and be sure to hit the like button, subscribe button. It actually helps with the channel. The more subscribers you get and likes you get, I can get paid, eventually. Anyway, you guys, talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support.